Hello, I'm Andrew Foster from Spirit River Music and Woodworks, and I'd like to talk to you about a topic that I'm sure is on all of your minds: cutting boards. I make two types of wooden cutting boards: the edge grain cutting board and the end grain cutting board. To explain the differences between the two, I need to first explain the different parts of a piece of wood, like this one. So the large, flat surface is the face grain. A lot of the grain lines can be seen through this, and a lot of the beauty of the wood is there. The thinner, flat side is the edge grain, named because it is the edge of the board. On either end is the end grain. The pores of the wood run through the face grain and the edge grain, and the openings are at the end grain. The edge grain cutting board is actually a bit of a misnomer because it uses both the face grain and the edge grain of the wood. But in the case of a cutting board, the difference between those two is negligible. So with our edge grain as the cutting surface, we can get very neat patterns by gluing several strips of wood together. And with this as the surface, it really shows off the natural beauty of the wood grain, making for a very sturdy, great looking cutting board with a degree of warp resistance. An end grain cutting board uses the end grain of the wood as the cutting surface. Now you may be wondering, if most of the beauty of the wood is in the face and the edge grains, why would we have the end grain showing the most? Well, there's a few advantages to an end grain cutting board. First is visual. Through the process of making an end grain board, you get these really fascinating patterns, like this one. The process also allows for some more creative designs, as it's the case in this Chopin or chopping board, depending on which you prefer. But it's not just visual. With more of these pieces and the grain not running across the board, it has a greater resistance to warping than the edge grain board. Another benefit is it's easier on your knives, making them not go dull as quickly, making you not have to sharpen them as often. Now, that may be a little hard to understand, so I've got some props to help explain that. Imagine these skewers are the wood board. They go in the direction of the grain. So the tips are the end grain, the side is the edge grain. When you take your knife and cut into the side, you're met with a lot of resistance because you're cutting across the grain. When you cut onto the end grain, the fibers spread, making the knife not have to do as much work. Another benefit is when you remove the knife from the fibers, they come back together, which is why end grain cutting boards also have a degree of self-healing. So there are several advantages to the end grain cutting board. Any of these cutting boards, if well cared for, will last a very long time and will be an excellent addition to your kitchen that is both beautiful and functional. So there's two main factors if you're trying to decide between the two: cost and preference. First of all, we should address the cost. Edge grain boards are much simpler to make than end grain boards. When you add the other benefits of the end grain to the process of making them, that makes these cost easily twice as much. So if you're on a budget, you may want to go with the edge grain instead. And then preference. Which design do you like better? And the end grain, there's a whole lot going on. Some people may find that very beautiful and intriguing. Some may find that a little overwhelming. So the edge grain would be a simpler option there. If you have the money to afford an end grain board and you like how it looks, by all means, go with this. You will not regret it. And as I said before, any of these, if well maintained, will be an excellent addition. And if you have questions on how to maintain them, I have another video where I go in detail about that. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching, and happy chopping.